This Notion dashboard doesn't just track your money, it runs your entire financial life. And finally, after years of building templates, I created FinanceOS, a complete Notion system that helps you track, manage, and understand your entire financial life in one place. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to make it work for you and why it might be the only finance setup you'll ever need. Let's start simple with something small that already makes a big difference: your currency. To do that, go to the database page, scroll down until you find the database called currency, and simply change the symbol to your own. You might be wondering, why does that even matter? Well, this small detail actually affects the formulas that power the entire system. So once you've updated your currency, you can go back to the main dashboard and everything will start reflecting your choice. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this change only affects the formulas. If you're using a different currency than euros, you'll also need to manually update it across all your databases. Just go into every property that shows the euro symbol, click Edit Property, and under Number Format, select your currency. It's something you'll only have to do once. And if you ever need a reminder, everything's plain in the template guide, which you can access at any time. Let's move to one of the most important sections: accounts. Here's where you can add all your accounts: your bank accounts, the cash in your wallet, your investment accounts, everything. Right in the middle of your main dashboard, you can see a quick view of your accounts, your initial balance, and your current balance. And when you open one of your accounts, that's when things get really interesting. For example, if it's an investment account, you can see how much money you've added and how much it's grown. Each account also includes a set of windows where you can see all related information: your incomes to that account, expenses, transfers in and out, recurrent payments, subscriptions, and even goals linked to that account. Each of those windows opens a deeper view, so you can explore every detail related to that specific account. Now, to the left of your account section, you'll find something called Quick Actions, and these are probably the buttons you'll use the most: new income, new expense, new transfer. These buttons make logging your financial activity ridiculously fast. When you click on New Income, a new income entry is automatically created. You'll fill a few details: the income name, the date, which by default will be today's date, though you can change it if a transaction happened earlier. Then select the account where the money goes, the source of income, the amount, and optionally, a note if you want to add extra context. Now, for the expenses, is pretty much the same, except the accounts you choose is where the money comes from. You'll also pick a category which connects to your budget, add the amount, notes if you want, and you even have a spot to upload the receipt for that expense. And then we've got New Transfer. This one's slightly different because transfers are between your own accounts or to things like goals, saving funds, or debts. Here, you'll need to fill in both from account and to account. It's self-explanatory where the money is coming from and where it's going. You'll also add the name, date, and a category, which again ties into your income tracking for your monthly goals. It's all designed to feel natural. You click, you fill a few details, and everything else updates automatically in the background. Right below the account section, you'll find budgeting. This is where you set your monthly expense budget. Every month, you just adjust the monthly budget field. Everything else updates automatically based on your real expenses. You can see your total expenses, how much of your budget you've used, how much you have left, and even a utilization percentage, which gives you a clear snapshot of how well you're managing your spending. Now, when you open any category inside your budget, you'll find two windows. The first one shows details about the category, and the second lists all expenses linked to it grouped by date. That lets you instantly see which months you tend to spend more on certain things and which categories are taking most of your budget. It's a simple but powerful way to become more aware of your financial habits. And again, if you need to adjust your currency here too, just switch the symbol in the number format. Now, let's look at one of the biggest parts of the system, navigation. This is where you can explore your entire financial life in detail. You'll find sections for net worth, income, expenses, transfer, investments, debts, recurring payments, subscriptions, wishlist, goals, and saving funds. Let's take a quick tour. If you open net worth, you'll see your total value, your assets, your liabilities, and how everything contributes to your financial situation. From here, you can track your overall progress. And once we reach the financial report later, this section becomes even more powerful. When you go into accounts, you'll get a detailed view of each account, your current balance, this month's income, total income, this month's expenses and total expenses. And of course, there's a button to create a new account anytime you need one. In income, you'll see your most recent incomes from the last 7 days, your income categories, and 3 dedicated windows: incomes for the current month, incomes for the year, and total incomes overall. And of course, a new income button right there for quick access. In expenses, you'll find a similar layout: your expense categories, recent transactions, and a button to create a new expense whenever needed. Now, when you go into transfers, it looks similar to income and expenses, but with a twist. Here, you can see your accounts and the total incoming and outgoing transfers for each. You'll also find a dedicated section for saving funds, showing exactly how much money you've transferred there. We'll get back to those in a bit. And of course, there's a button to create a new transfer. Inside the investment page, you can see your investment accounts and all your active investments. This is where you'll update your numbers whenever market prices change, so you can keep your data accurate and see your portfolio growth over time. And again, there's a new investment button ready to go whenever you want to add another one. Now, let's move to debts. Here, you can view all your debts, their current status, and how much progress you've made on each. Right below, you'll see all the transfers linked to each debt. It's a super clean way to track repayments over time. Whenever you create a new debt, make sure to click the button that says Add to Liabilities. That button connects your new debt to your net worth so everything stays perfectly accurate. And just like everywhere else, yes, you also have a new debt button right there. Next, let's check out recurrent payments. This page shows you all your recurrent payment categories, along with key info for each, coming payments this week, and several different views to keep everything organized. You can filter by all, active, cancel, or even see them on a calendar view. Now, here's one of the coolest features. When you open a specific recurrent payment, you'll find 3 buttons that actually affect how the system behaves. By default, every payment starts with the status active. But if you decide to cancel or pause it, just click the corresponding button. When you do, you'll see the alert and the next payment date automatically update. And if you reactivate it later, everything goes back to how it was before, with one small but smart difference. The next payment date is calculated from the day you reactivate it, not the old schedule. That's one of those small details that make FinanceOS feel alive. It adapts as your real life changes. Now, you might be wondering, why is there a separate page for subscriptions if it's basically the same as recurrent payments? Good question. The reason is simple. I like to keep things organized. Personally, I prefer to separate recurrent bills like rent or utilities from entertainment or software subscriptions. But yes, the page itself works exactly the same way, with the same buttons and the same features. If you want to explore this part in even more depth, I actually have a full video on my channel dedicated to the subscriptions tracker template. Now, let's move on to something more fun, the wishlist. This section is where you can add all the products you'd like to buy in the future. You can include details like the product name, status, which by default will be plan to buy, priority, brand, category, price, initial money if you've already saved some, details for comparison, the purchase link, and even an image. This page is one of my personal favorites because it helps you make smarter purchase decisions. For example, if you're hesitating between several similar products, just click compare and scroll down. You'll see all their differences side by side in detail. Now, here's where the magic happens. When you've finally decided which product you actually want to buy, you'll click the button that says, I want this. And that button doesn't just change the status of your product to buy next. That will be too easy. What it does instead is something way smarter. It actually creates a saving fund dedicated to that product. So you can start adding money to it gradually, at your own pace. And the best part is, it's designed to not mess with your other finances. Because sure, you could just buy it right away. But what if an emergency happens next month? That money might have been exactly what you needed. With FinanceOS, your purchases are planned, not impulsive. Now let's talk about goals. This is where you create your financial goals. For example, an emergency fund. You can see all your active goals and the transfers linked to each one. It's a clear and motivating way to see progress over time. Next, we have the saving funds page, which you also find in the main dashboard. Here, you can see all your saving funds, both in progress and completed. You'll notice there's a button called Add Money. When you click it, it creates a transaction. In this case, a transfer from one of your accounts to that saving fund. Here's a cool detail. If the saving fund was created through the I want this button from your wishlist, it's automatically linked to that product. That means that every time you add money here, the progress bar in your wishlist updates as well. Now, something to keep in mind, if when adding money you don't fill the to account field, which is what I actually do, then you don't need to create a separate expense later when you buy the product, because that transfer already took the money out of your accounts. But if you prefer to specify the account, then yes, when you actually make the purchase, you'll create that expense entry. Both methods work, just depends on your preference. On the right side of your dashboard, you'll find the Next to Pay section. Here, you'll see upcoming payments and sub-buttons you haven't seen before. These buttons work exactly like the ones in saving funds. In this section, you'll find recurrent payments, subscriptions, and debts. Basically, everything that gets paid on a regular basis. It's designed to give you a clear idea of what's coming up soon, so you're never caught off guard. And when you click one of these buttons, it automatically creates the corresponding entry. A new expense if it's a recurrent payment or subscription, and a transfer if it's a debt. All automatic, all connected. At the bottom of the dashboard, you can see your incomes for the month grouped by date. Right below that, your expenses also grouped by date. And at the very bottom, your transfers, again organized by date. It's a clean, chronological way to see your recent activities at a glance. And now, the part everyone's been waiting for, the financial report. This section is something I haven't seen in any other Notion Finance template. It gives you a full, dynamic overview of your financial life, your net worth, investment, transactions, debts, recurrent payments, subscriptions, and more. In one glance, you can see how your finances are doing, what you owe, what you own, and what's coming up next. I didn't mention this earlier because it's something you want to check once all your data is filled in. But when you do, and you go back to your net worth page, for example, when you create a new asset like a stock portfolio, you can link it directly to your investment accounts. Or if you own a collectible watch, you can create an asset for it, categorize it as a physical asset, and include both the purchase price and the current market value. That level of detail gives you a complete financial picture automatically. And finally, let's talk about the phone bank. I wanted FinanceOS to be useful not just on your computer but also in your daily life. So I created a version optimized for your phone. A page that gives you the most essential tools right at your fingertips. All you have to do is add the phone bank page as a widget on your phone. Inside, you'll find the three main buttons: income, expense, and transfers. That means whenever you are, whether you're grabbing your morning coffee or out shopping, you can instantly log that transaction so you never forget it later. You'll also see a view of your current account balances and your monthly spending budget, so you always know how you're doing financially, anytime, anywhere. And that's the entire system. FinanceOS. It's not just another template, it's a complete living financial system designed to give you total clarity, control, and confidence with your money. Now that you've seen everything it can do, there's only one thing left to do: make it yours. The link to get FinanceOS is right below in the description and in the pinned comment. I built this to help you understand your money in a way that finally makes sense. Now, it's your turn to experience it. FinanceOS, the last finance template you'll ever need.